Do you give yourself grace? Do you give yourself the same kindness, compassion, and consideration that you give to others? I want you to really think about that question, and I want you to explore and examine what it means in your life specifically. Sometimes we are so focused on everything that needs to be done. We just are on go all the time, and that comes from, just scraping by and trying to survive all the time. That sometimes that we don't realize we're thriving. Sometimes we don't realize that we have actually moved past survival mode and life is kind of at the smooth sailing point. And I think part of the reason is you don't give yourself grace. You're so hard on yourself. You're so critical of yourself for a million reasons, right? Because other people have expectations of you, because you were trained a certain way as a child, because you strive for perfectionism, even though that's not a real obtainable goal for any of us, that we can't be perfect, but we can try to do the right things and learn the lessons that we need to learn as soon as possible without having to repeat patterns. But my message for today is sometimes you have to be kind to yourself. Sometimes you have to forgive yourself, and you just got to be loving towards yourself, whether that's something that you're receiving from others or not. You got to give it to yourself. Okay. I have been very vocal, lately about my belief in God and what God is doing in my life and my connection to my roots and my past, and how that is propelling me forward in life, even on my so-called worst days, when I'm sad, when I'm crying, when I'm healing. I don't feel struggle. I don't feel pain and sadness. I know that I will be all right. I know that I am healing and I'm doing what I need to do naturally. And guess what? Sometimes I'm very annoyed and I'm very pissed off about the things that have happened to me. And I express that in an appropriate way. I could be angry, but I don't have to let it sit and fester till it gets to a rageful, nasty point, and then I'm reactive and I can't control myself. I don't like that. So, in knowing yourself and spending time with yourself and taking care of yourself so that you can move towards the highest version of yourself, part of that is knowing that, yes, sometimes you're going to mess up. Whether it was intentional or not, whether it was influenced by others or not. Hold yourself accountable for your behavior, but learn and grow from it and give yourself grace. Learn how to connect the dots. This thing happened to me, and because this thing happened, these other things followed. That's the best way to explain it. Like that trickle down. I always say that trickle down is mean. The trickle down is mean. Sometimes you carry the burden of everybody who came before you, who couldn't heal, who couldn't deal, who went towards negative things, whether that's gambling, whether that's excessive sex, whether that's smoking cigarettes, smoking weed, doing hardcore drugs, using and manipulating people for your own financial gain, or just because you have a sick satisfaction that you get from being able to control others. Whatever the thing is that manifested from your pain, deal with it. Even though it's hard, because guess what? Like any other wound, it will heal. You might remember when you got hurt, right? You're going to remember that pain associated with it. But I promise it won't be the same. You have to do the work, and only you can do it. No one can do it for you. And what you have to realize sometimes is that the people around you may not be in that space, and they are not doing the work. And that might be what influences you and keeps you stuck and stagnant. Spend time outside and let your mind go. Let your heart be free and see what thoughts come to you. And then you focus on whatever comes to you naturally, and that's your focus for the day. Only worry about today. Tomorrow's going to come. Tomorrow is going to come, right? It's going to come regardless of what's going to happen to you. Tomorrow is always going to come. Tomorrow is another opportunity for you to learn and grow and be better. But today, you focus on what you actually can accomplish. Stop making this 20 list to-do list, and you know you can only do 2 things. 2 things is an accomplishment. I woke up and I got out of the bed. Sometimes that's all you can do. I took a shower and I didn't feel like it. I took a walk and I didn't feel like it. Push yourself, but be realistic. Shortcomings are just that. It doesn't have to be a setback. It's I need to take a pause and I need to realize and recognize what is going on around me. And I need to address some things. I might need to reshift and refocus my energy, but I'm going to always be where I need to be eventually. There are a million right ways to do everything. Find one, and it's still going to lead you in the right direction. Love yourself. Give yourself grace. Stop being so hard on yourself. We are our worst critics. The worst thing that somebody said about you is definitely not the worst thing, because you talk to yourself, your inner voice, like you're letting others control your inner voice. So it's you that, ultimately you're sending those messages to your brain, to your body, to your heart. You are doing that because you are allowing other people to tell you who you are, and you just can't. And sometimes you are being burdened by your past and the mistakes that you actually do feel sorry for, and you still can't change what happened. So accept the things that you cannot change, change the things that you can. Give yourself some time out, some time to feel, so that you heal naturally and you progress forward in your life. I hope everybody has an amazing day and weekend. Make great choices. And sometimes you got to put yourself first and not feel selfish for doing it. Okay? Always think about when you get on a plane and they talk about the oxygen mask and how if it comes down, you got to put yours on. You can't even put your kids, your neighbors, you got to put yours on. Save yourself, loves. Save yourself. And in doing that, watch your whole world change. Okay? Be amazing today. Make good choices.